All right, so we're going to talk today about Adobe Premiere Pro, and before we get started with that, I want to talk about memory cards and card readers. One of the easiest and the best, and kind of what you're going to use for everything in video production, are SD cards or different types of digital media. One of the things that I've found with students this year is that getting media off of memory cards is a little bit of a hassle and a little bit of a problem because they haven't done it before. So I'm plugging that card reader into my computer. What you don't want to do is just hit import. The new Windows operating system, as soon as you plug stuff in, it just asks, do you want to import it? And like most high school students, you probably don't take the time to read what it's asking you. So make sure you read what it's asking you. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to get to it. So I'm going to hit the Windows there and go to File Explorer, and you see down here it says EOS Digital. Now after a while you'll kind of learn what all of these mean and go from there, but if you're using one of the Canons, the EOS Digitals, DCIM, and then the number there, and then here's a ton of footage. So what I'm going to do now, all of your videos should be in the videos folder, and I want you to see that sometimes it can look like this. If you just double click on this PC, go to videos, and there you go. So what I'm going to do first is right click and create a new folder and call it Premiere Training 2 because as you see there I have Premiere Pro Training already. I'm going to just leave that open. I'm going to go back over here to File Explorer, down here to EOS Digital, DCIM, 100 Canon, and I'm going to pull these clips that were created the other day by students and just drag them and drop them. See, it says copy to Premiere Pro Training. So it's going to take just a moment to upload those. The reason that you want to move your files off of your media is the minute you unplug your card reader, you're going to lose the files in Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro, when you import footage in, doesn't actually move the footage. It just reads wherever the footage is. So you want to make sure that you put it in a spot that makes sense so that you can find it. Hence, I put it in videos. I try to stay as organized as possible with my videos because if you can imagine the number of videos that I do in a year, and hopefully when you become a professional, you'll have the same situation where you need to be able to go exactly to one spot and get that. So as you can see here, this is my B3 training, B4 training, football clips, Premiere Pro training, and then the current folder, Premiere Pro 2. So I've got these files loading in. Make sure you don't stop the card reader or unplug the card reader until it's done with everything. While that's finishing up, we're going to go over to Premiere Pro. When you launch Premiere Pro, you're going to get this screen. I don't use this screen. I really don't. Some of our PCs here at the school, I don't know what the problem is, but it just will show up as a white box. Just hit the red X and get out of there. I don't use the welcome screen at all. So I'm going to go to File, New, and Adobe does a good job of basically saying, look, we know what you need, just kind of follow us a little bit. So obviously I don't have a project going, so I'm saying you need a new project. Adobe Premiere Pro is opposite from every other software you'll ever use in that you have to name it and save it prior to actually working on the project. So first thing I'm going to do is name it, name the project Premiere Pro Training. And I'm going to browse and go to my videos folder, and you will see Premiere Training 2. I'm going to put that folder in there. Notice up here it says select the destination for your path of your new project. A lot of times when students get to this point, they're looking for their videos. You're not there yet, okay? So this is where it's saying, hey, where do you want me to save this file? So I'm going to hit select folder, and then this stuff here, you'll never need. Not for this class anyway. So just rename it, set the location to save, and click OK. Premiere Pro is a big software program. Sometimes that process of opening up this window takes a couple of seconds. Be patient. This is your main editing window, your workspace. Pretty simple. All right. Here is where everything lives. You see here you start with importing your media. Then you have your source. I'm going to teach you today how to edit in the source window. It's something that I recently learned about, and I love it. Down here's your timeline. Everybody kind of knows how a timeline works, 0 to whenever it's over with, and you'll see some other things there with the time indicator. And then program. The short story about program is if it's not in that window, it doesn't exist. All right. So it goes into your timeline, and as your timeline progresses, it will show you in the program window what the video looks like. If it doesn't show in that program window, it doesn't exist. So let's go ahead and get started with a quick edit. We're going to go over here to import media to start. So I'm going to just double click here. I'm going to go to my videos folder and Premiere Training 2, and I have these two files here. Notice I just click and drag and it selected both of them. It'll bring more than one file in at a time, which is really good if you're doing multiple clips at one time. So now what I have here are video clips. They are in my project window, but they are not in my timeline, therefore they're not in program. Here's how I get started. I double click, bring it into my source window. Now I'm going to hit spacebar to play.
5, 4, 3.
Obviously I don't want that 5, 4, 3. I just want when Onyx starts talking here in just a moment.
Please state your first and last name and spell them both.
Okay, so I know that Clay's done, so I'm going to hit pause for a moment for just the effect of teaching. And I'm going to hit my I button to set my endpoint. So this tells Premiere Pro, I want to start right here. I don't want anything in this area. I want stuff from this side. So I'm going to play it through a little bit.
Onyx James.
Okay.
YXJAMES.
And I'm going to hit O to clip out of that. All right. So now it has said, hey, look, this is what we need. If I come right here and click and drag it into my timeline, it will create a sequence, and it will put that in there. The thing about sequences, so you have your project, and then you have sequences, and you can have hundreds and thousands of sequences. The way that I remember it is sequences are like chapters in a book. You may have one main sequence, and then you have 15 subsequences that are the different chapters. So just know that sequences are where you're going to edit and see things in your timeline. Speaking of the timeline, this little guy here is called the current time indicator. It tells you where you are in your video. Right here is your audio and video files. Notice they can be separated, moved around, that kind of stuff. Not something we're going to worry about right now. Anything above this kind of center line here is video. Anything below is audio. And you can layer those however you want. But if you'll notice, let me find a different clip that's a little bit better here from Onyx.
What college would you like to attend and why?
I would like to go to Clemson University, mostly because my sister attended that college along with her husband, and it seems like a very good college. There's a lot of good sports programs and other different fields that I'm interested in.
Okay, so now I've set my out point and I'm going to drag this down. So see how it kind of runs off the screen? What I'm going to do is drag this here and zoom out just a little bit. So you can see the audio peaks. You could also, if you want to, drag this up to see exactly what the video file looks like. That's one of those things that Adobe did that I don't think makes a lot of sense, because if I want to see what the video looks like, I'll just put the current time indicator over it and see it. So coming to the end there. Now I'm going to go back up here to my source window, play some more.
Where would you say your work ethic comes from?
I would say a lot from my family and seeing other people build from the work ethic that they have had and improved throughout their time.
Okay, so now I've got that out point. Notice I'm cutting the same clip right here several times. That's one of the great things about using digital video. And if I want to go back and cut something else from here, I can, and it's no additional impact on my overall project. So now I have these two.
I would say a lot from my family.
Okay. What you just saw there was a jump cut. It's one of those things that drives me crazy. So what we're going to do now is click this little arrow here and go to our effects window. You're going to see video transitions. The windows that I use most are dissolves, the transitions. So check this out. I'm going to put this here, drag this back, and it's what's called a cross dissolve.
I would say a lot from my family.
So you saw this area here where you have the two clips come over. It's a pretty cool, easy thing to do. You can do morph cuts. You can do all kinds of stuff. I like the morph cut because it kind of makes the interviews look really good sometimes.
I would say a lot from my family.
Okay, so it's still analyzing. And once it's done, what it will do is try to match the video together to figure out what's going to make the best looking transition there. So that's all you're going to do. You're going to take your source footage, you're going to dump it down, you're going to edit it, you're going to move it. The next lesson we're going to talk about adding titles, and then cutting some specific stuff and cutting to a music beat. And then finally we will export our videos. Thank you for taking the time to watch.